because my childhood was full of imagination, because I was a reader.
Presented the opportunity to make it into a one genre, what would you name it?
So time travel is a concept that I have always been captivated by. Holding the book in your hands, you're now a part of that dream. Sera. She travels from 300 years ago into the present, into our present, which is her future.
A journey through time, a captivative story about a princess who awakens in an unfamiliar world, stricken out of her memories, forgotten kingdoms, and the courage it takes to find her true self again. It's a tale of friendship and fantasy, and the courage it takes for her to find her true self again. In the heart of this imagination is the creator of its own, Sachi Senanayake. Welcome to the studio, Sachi.
Thank you very much for having me, Vihandu.
So, to kick it off, why don't you introduce yourself to us? Tell us about yourself, what you do, what makes you you.
Right, interesting question. Yes, I'm Sachi Senanayake, and first and foremost, I'm a mother. Now I'm a writer. I'm also a PhD candidate at the University of Colombo at the Faculty of Management and Finance. I also do have 13 years of experience in the corporate sector, more specifically into the industry of tea exports. Right now, I am devoting a lot of time to be with my baby, who is turning 2 years old in next month, and I'm devoting a lot of time to follow my childhood passion, that is writing. So far I have published 3 books, as you can see here.
Okay. So it's a core of the word all round, if I'm correct.
Oh, yes, I believe so.
So, Sachi, straight jumping into the book, the Sera,
Yes.
the Sera book that you wrote very recently. In the preface of the book, you have mentioned that this story is my very own journey in the sense of wonder. Why don't you explain it to us?
Yes.
What do you think? Like,
talking about the sense of wonder, that really takes me back in time to my childhood, because my childhood was full of imagination, because I was a reader. Ever since I could actually read, ever since I learned to read, I became a reader. With that, I was always in a world of dreams. And that brings me back to my very first book, Magic in Every Page. This is a children's storybook that contains 21 magical stories, brand new fairy tales.
Right.
And this has recently received the approval from the Ministry of Education as well as a suitable book for all school libraries, which I'm really happy about. And I launched another book together with this in January this year, which is called Written Upon a Canvas, Helithuden Liu Kavi, which is a Sinhala and an English poetry collection. Right. Now, Sera is my 3rd book.
okay.
Now, I believe each of these books represents a part of me. Now, Magic in Every Page, my very first children's book, would represent my love for storytelling, my love for imagination, whereas this book would celebrate my love for artistry. And I believe Sera, which we are talking about today specifically, would reflect my passion of the concepts that are fantastical, like time travel. So time travel is a concept that I have always been captivated by. As I have mentioned in the preface, I have said, I think that it is a very rare kind of a fantasy that invites us to defy the limits of reality and invites us to dream or imagine the impossible. So that is what I'm saying in the preface. I'm saying to the reader, come with me, join hands with me, and step into this dream that I have had. And by holding the book in your hands, you're now a part of that dream.
I'm very glad to be part of that dream as well. So, Sachi, talking about books, now I'm pretty sure there's a genre to every book that we read.
Of course.
Right? So in terms of this book, I feel like it belongs to a lot of genres. But if you were presented the opportunity to make it into a one genre, what would you name it?
Yes, another good question. Now, as you said, every book that we write falls into one or a few genres.
Yeah.
But if I am asked to confine this to one specific genre, it would be magical realism.
Magical realism.
Yes.
Would you care to explain it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, if you take this book, if you look at it from the surface, if you look at the cover, it is grounded upon fantasy, because it talks about a lot of fantastical themes, like the time travel, for an instance, kingdoms, and the main character of this book is Princess Sera. She travels from 300 years ago into the present, into our present, which is her future. Right, so there are a lot of fantastical stories in that, which makes this a magical story. But meanwhile, it also explores a lot of real themes, like friendship, like love between parents and children, the courage one needs to step into, identity, the journey that one goes through to form their own identity. Therefore, I believe magical realism would be ideal, because it connects fantasy with real life scenarios as well. What I wanted to reiterate here to the reader is that magic can quietly slip in even in day-to-day simple life and make it more beautiful. So this is like real life meeting fantasy.
So a quick question actually. When you say magic, to a good book reader, the Harry Potter series comes up.
Oh yes.
Right? So was Harry Potter series an inspiration for this book?
Of course, which is why the dedication of this book is to J.K. Rowling and Harry, Ron and Hermione. Harry Potter was a huge part of my childhood. I started reading the series when I was about 11 years of age. And since then, until I became an adult, it was my comfort place. It was a book that I would read when I'm heartbroken, when I need motivation. It still holds a very, very special place in my heart. Not just that, I think Harry Potter inspired me to think out of the box, to imagine the impossible. And time travel is a notion that comes in the book as well, but my concept of time travel is an entirely different one. But still, it was a huge inspiration for me.
So coming back to the book, right, Sera, the book. So you are talking about in the book itself is something beyond what you can imagine. Time travel.
Time travel.
Right? Magical, mystical arts and adventure, right? My simple question is, how do you bring it alive? How do you keep it into words, and how do you make the reader feel it?
Right, yes. As you correctly said, time travel in itself is an impossible concept. But I have also tried to tie it loosely to science in the book to keep it more real, because I didn't want it to be an entirely fantastical story as well. For an instance, I'm talking about the theoretical possibility of time travel.
Okay.
The theoretical possibility, not that it has been proven by science, it means that it has not been defied, it has not been totally negated or rejected by science either. For an instance, if you take the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein, it says that if you move in the speed of the light, you will move slower than compared to a person who stands still. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Which brings us to the concept of time dilation as well, which speaks of bending time, which speaks of how time can be bended theoretically, which says that, which can be stated, which can be articulated to say that time travel is totally not rejected by science. So here in my book, I am not bringing a scientific explanation for it, but what I am saying is that the concept of time travel is beyond science. Okay?
Right.
So this concept of time travel that I have created here is entirely new. I will simply say how it works in my book. So suppose that you take a moment in time and then freeze it. Imagine this moment.
Right.
We take this moment and freeze it and then seal it in a chamber where time doesn't move. Right? So it becomes an orb of eternity. In this book, that is what happens. So this is something that I have crafted after thinking for months. And in this book, in Princess Sera's kingdom, they do have the power to unlock that chamber and unfreeze that moment of eternity and travel through time. That is the concept that I have included in this book.
Very interesting. I mean, I also took the liberty of reading the book, right?
Of course.
It made me wonder, what am I doing with my creativity? It's the book itself contains a lot of emotions and a lot of facts that we can talk about for hours, right? But jumping on to the next question, what I have is, so when we are reading a book, each and every book, we can take something out of
course.
A book, right? So in this book, what are you trying to give? What are the lessons that you're trying to give to the audience?
Yes. So this is something that I'm very concerned about, because I do try to give a meaningful message through each of my books. When it comes specifically to Sera, I wanted not just to enhance creativity and imagination in children, but I want to instill or enhance emotional intelligence in them as well, because this is a quality that we see that's slipping away slowly in this digital first world.
Yes.
Therefore, I have incorporated some very human qualities like understanding each other, empathizing with each other, being kind to each other, being loyal. Through the portrayal of Sera, this is what I hope to transpire to the young readers. So if at least one child learns to become emotionally aware, kinder and more empathetic towards each other, I believe my mission is a success.
Right. So when we are talking about the lessons towards the book, I feel like what you explained is more deep, right? So it's in an aspect, it's a deep conversation that we can go forth.
Of course.
But what in terms of the audience that you're targeting for this book, right? Have you reached out to them correctly? Have you reached out to them in a way that they can understand this, what you're talking about?
Yes, I believe now this is what I imagined that they would gain from the book. Also, when talking about the audience that I have targeted, I imagine that this would be more suited for children who are above the age of 10, because it is slightly more complex than Magic in Every Page because of the time travel notion and all that. But I have been receiving a lot of love from readers across all ages, from children who are younger than 10 up to adults. They have been saying that Sera is an unforgettable story that they have read because the plot changes about the null concept and everything. So I am very privileged to receive that kind of love from readers. I think that is the biggest reward for an author. So from the responses that I have received, I believe that they have captured the message that I wanted to give. So they have received this book not just as a fantasy, but a wholesome book that talks about love, friendship and life lessons as well.
Right. So talking about the responses, I also took the liberty to recommend this book to one of my friends.
Okay.
Right. So she also gave this magical response, how she couldn't even believe, she didn't even thought something like this. And the fact that what she highlighted is that when we say time travel, what comes to our head is from the present we go back to the past. But this is something new. This is something from the past. She comes to the present,
yes, yes.
right? So it's really amazing how you have thought about this, right? And furthermore, now we talked about the responses, how you got the responses with regards to this book, right? So what are the aspirations that you had apart from Harry Potter, apart from J.K. Rowling's? What are the aspirations that you had with regards to writing this book?
Yes, I think the numerous books that I have read from childhood has been a true inspiration for this. I read a lot of genres, classic, historical fiction, psychological thrillers, children's books and everything. So I think every book that I have read so far, every good book that I have read so far has played a part in crafting this story, because what I wanted to craft was something that is beyond comprehension for others. Like you said, like your friend has commented, I have read some books and thought to myself, oh my god, how did this person even come up with this story? So I have always wanted to create a story like that myself. So I believe with Sera I have been at least a little bit successful in doing that.
So now after talking about the inspirations, why don't we talk about the future work? I'm pretty sure that as a author of 3 books already, right, which I'm pretty sure you are really proud of yourself. And what are the future work that you are looking forward to work on?
Yes, and now since I'm at the very end of my PhD, I believe after that I will have a lot of time at my hand to work more on my books, which is my true calling in life, I believe.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working on 3 books, 3 novels. One is a Sinhala novel that I have started, I believe, in 2019, but that is a bit stagnated at the moment because I have lost the inspiration for it a bit. So I'm keeping it aside for the moment being until the inspiration comes back. But in the meanwhile, I'm working on 2 English novels. One is called Whispers of the Hills, which is a social fiction. It is entirely different from Sera, which is fantasy. History, Whispers of the Hills is a story about people living in the tea plantations. Because my PhD research was on tea plantations, I have had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with the people living in the plantations. So this book moves between the colonial Sri Lanka and the present Sri Lanka, and it talks about a very real story of the people that I have had the fortune to meet and talk with during my research of almost 4.5 years. So it talks about the lasting impact or the shadow of colonialism that still looms over the people in Sri Lanka, the plantation people in Sri Lanka, and how it's creating impact in their lives. So this is a true story. Although it is a fiction, this is a true story of people. With that, I hope to bring some empowerment to their lives. So this is one. The other one is a psychological thriller called Her Name is Rose. It is an entirely different one from all this. It is about obsessive love, different psychological dimensions, and motherhood. That is an entirely different story. I'm not going to go into detail because it's going to be a mystery. Yes, so that is what I'm working on right now.
So what I got from you, the conversation that we had, is that you are writing books in every aspect, in psychological thriller, for kids, mystery, adventures, which is really good, which is really impressive.
Thank you.
And in terms of that, how to accomplish different stages of your life, I'm pretty sure that you have plenty of people behind you to support you, to cheer for you, right? So, and I'm pretty sure that you have that people who you are grateful for and thankful for forever, for the person who you are today, right? So let's talk about that
Of
as the
course,
last bit.
Of course. I will first mention very few special people whom I'm thankful for when it comes to Sera specifically. First of all, Mrs. Samudrika de Silva, the owner of Samudra Publications, because she is the publisher of this book. Samudra is the publisher of this book, and she has been extremely supportive from beginning to end. She gave me the complete liberty to write the book the way I wanted, even to design the cover the way I wanted. So her support was incredible. And my dear friend Rushane Sosa, she offered to do the proofreading of this book. She was very generous. We were talking about the books, and the previous books I did the proofreading myself. So when we were talking about this, she said, why don't I would love to do it for you. So she was lovely, and I'm incredibly thankful to her as well. And finally, Professor Darshana Veeraratna, head of the Department of Physics at the University of Colombo, who was so kind to go through that scientific physics facts in this book, because I wanted it to be perfect. Flawless for the readers. So thankful to these three incredible people. And when I talk about life in general, there are a few people that I am thankful for. First of all, my daughter, who's the absolute love of my life, my Sanya. She makes me, she's the one who inspires me to become the best version of myself. So I'm eternally thankful to her for that. And of course, my husband, Bashita, I think he is the kind of a husband that a girl with dreams should have. Because if not for him, I wouldn't be sitting here with you as an author, because writing was my childhood passion. But if not for him, I wouldn't be launched as a published author. So he has been truly supportive and selflessly motivating in my journey of becoming a writer. And of course, my parents, they made me who I am today, and they are also amazingly supportive, because I do have to do a lot of things with my time, and I also want to become a very good mother. So they help me immensely in taking the best care of my daughter, so that I can focus on my writing, my career, and my studies with a peaceful mind. So thank you so much for all of them, all my teachers, my school, Malidev Balika Vidyalaya Kurunegala. Thank you, and also thank you so much to Lake House Publication as well. I had my very first YouTube interview with you all when I launched Magic in Every Page and my poetry collection, and here I am today again talking about Sera. So thank you so much to all these beautiful people who have been the guiding light in my journey.
So with that, Sachi, the Lake House team wishes you best of the luck for the ahead of the plans and for your life with the new work that's coming up, and we hope that we'll have another conversation.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
And so thank you, and we also have to address our audience. Thank you so much for joining with us, and I hope that you gained some insight with regards to the book Sera on this matter, and therefore I'm also inviting you to join with us on this adventurous story. Until next, see you next time.